Hi everybody. In this demonstration, we're going to create our target cluster. If we, look at the this documentation, it will redirect you to how to create the target cluster. We're going to work on new AKS cluster comment. And so let's recap what the target cluster and the management cluster. An AKS hybrid consists of two main components, as we discussed in the previous video. The management cluster, also known as the AKS host, and the workload clusters, also referred to as target clusters. The management cluster provides the core orchestration and management functions for deploying and managing one or more workload clusters, while the workload clusters are where containerized applications are actually deployed and run. So please bear in mind that don't deploy anything on your management clusters. So let's draw a simple diagram. So this is our target management cluster. And our comment will be new AKS ACI cluster. And this comment will interact with management cluster, and management cluster is responsible for creating the target cluster. And in this demonstration, we're going to create one load balancer, one control plane, Kubernetes control plane, created as control plane, and we're going to create two work nodes, Linux work nodes. Or let's call it work nodes. And here we go. So let's look at it. The new AKS ACI cluster parameters. So comment new AKS ACI cluster dot parameters, and name is the only required parameter. Of course, we are going to set the name of our target cluster. We can set the Kubernetes version of our target cluster. Control plane node counts, so we can set control plane node counts by this parameter, but we can scale the control plane node counts as well after creating our target cluster. Control VM size, so we should choose one of the VM sizes that is available for us. Get comment dash module AKS ACI find str dash I VM. So we're going to execute this comment to list the available VM sizes for our target cluster. So we should choose if the parameter is accepting VM size, so we should set the VM sizes from this common output. So VM size, node pool name. AKS hybrid supports node pools, so we can set the node pool name from this parameter. Node pool, node count name, node count, node maximum port count. So we can set the maximum port count in each node pool. So things and tolerations, not VM size. We discussed that. OS type is either Linux or Windows. For Linux, we only support Mariner Linux. Enable autoscaler. Enable autoscaler means that our node pools supports autoscaling. So if there is spike in your workloads, or if there is not anti-affinity rules. The worker nodes can be scaled automatically. No manual intervention is needed. And we support Active Directory authentication for the target cluster. With this parameter, you can install Prometheus operator, VNet configuration. You can set the target cluster load balances settings from this parameter. You can enable Azure Active Directory RBAC on your target cluster. And let's create our target cluster. So we are going to create new AKS ACI cluster. Name, let's call it prod CLS. And name, let's set Linux pool. And load count should be 3. And OS type is Linux. And let's set the node pool to 4 CPU, 16 gigabytes of memory. And primary network plugin, it can be Calico or Flannel. By default is Calico. So Calico supports network policies. So with this network plugin, you can enable the network policies as well. So let's press enter. And this command will create our target cluster within 3 minutes to 8 minutes, depending on the physical host. And if we look at the installation, first it will install the load balancer, and after that it will create the control plane of our target cluster, and it will create worker nodes consequently. That's it. Thank you.